welcome back once again to Marble Marathon on GDQ Hotfix. I am Helix, as you may have just seen. And I'm excited. It's time to get into our last run of the day, but not our last Marble run of the weekend. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. But this is Great Marble Adventure with Salt here to run it. Salt, take it away.
Okay, thank you very much, Felix. I'm introducing myself first. My name is NACL586, but you can call me Salt as previously stated. And in this time, I will be running my own game that I created based on Marble Blast and Marble It Up. It's called Great Marble Adventure. So I'll be doing any percent category, which means as fast as I can to reach the ending credits. So I only have to do 40 levels here instead of the whole 230 levels. So for first 5 chapters, I have to complete 6 levels to unlock the next chapter. And then I have to finish all levels on the last chapter to trigger the credits. And yeah, that's my plan. And with me, join me, we have the Artsters. Please introduce yourself.
Hey, thank you so much. I'm Tier's Third. I'm also a Marble player, especially Marble Blast, which this game is inspired by. Thank you so much to NACL or Salt for having me on as commentary. This game is really unique and it's super cool that it's being featured here at GDQ. So thank you so much. Take it away.
Okay, I guess we can start. I'm gonna start the countdown in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right.
Ready.
This is Great Marble Adventure. It's similar to many of the runs we've seen today. Very much inspired by Marble Blast, where you start at the start and you get to the finish. In every level, there's power-ups, there's movement, there's all that good stuff. There's hazards. Like many other games we've seen, gems are a requirement. So if any level has gems in it, and this one's the introduction to it, you have to collect all of the gems before you can get to the finish. So that really opens up a lot of interesting routing possibilities and creativity in how you get through the levels quickly. The power-ups in this game are also very similar to Marble Blast. So here you have a super jump, which when you use it, gives you a big boost that goes up. Also a super speed, which when you use it, it goes forward. And there's actually a mechanic in this game that's unique to this game where you can use it to go very high up as well in a different way than Marble Blast, but we'll get to see that later. This level also introduces some of the lesser used power-ups, but you still get to see them. There's the super bounce, but funny enough, you don't even use the super bounce here or the shock absorber. You just sort of go around this big pillar and you're in the finish. That's as easy as that.
Ready.
One thing that's important for ILs are these time modifiers, which when you get them, it pauses the in-game time. But unfortunately, it does not pause the real-world timer. Technology has not advanced that far yet, so we can just totally ignore them during an RTA run.
Ready.
Yeah, this level also has the Mega Marble, which is fans of Marble Blast Ultra will recognize this one. So it's cool to see it utilized in this game as well. And you can get these gems without falling in the hole. And jump to the finish. Very nice. So that was enough levels to beat the first chapter. Like Salt mentioned, you don't need to beat every level in a chapter to be able to progress to the next chapter. You only need to beat 6 out of the 10. So once you have enough, you can move on to the next level. I should point out, you might notice that Salt seems to be having her camera at a 45-degree diagonal much of the time. What's up with that? This game, like Marble Blast, has a mechanical diagonal movement, which basically the input doesn't get normalized, meaning if you put a diagonal angle, you can go at a much faster speed than if you just go normal because you're combining 2 input directions at once. So that's something that you'll get to see a lot here.
Ready.
My stream froze a little bit. I'm watching with a little bit of a delay, but hopefully that doesn't impact commentary too much here. One thing that's really interesting about this game's physics that wall hits compared to Marble Blast are very powerful. you can pretty much hit a wall and it'll send you up really high compared to Marble Blast. And so that was used in that previous level to scale walls. We're going to get to see that used plenty more times here throughout the whole run. But yeah, basically anytime she hits the wall, she's going to go really high up. And that's honestly really satisfying and makes running this game a lot of fun. So this level introduces the gravity modifier, which when you get it, it changes the direction of gravity. Compared to Marble Blast and Marble It Up, the implementation's a little different, where it actually changes the gravity of the level. So the momentum of the marble might feel a little different if you're used to those games, but it still works pretty much the same.
Time travel.
Get these last gems here and finish up the level.
Ready, set, go.
So one thing that's cool about this game is every level has 3 variants. So you can see in the top corner, it says the word easy. Every level has both an easy, normal, and hard variant. And so there's lots of, a lot of these straight paths in the easy levels become wavy or curvy paths with more obstacles in the hard levels. So for the any percent run, all you need to do is easy, but there's a lot more. There's a lot more game in this game. And you can see this is the kind of level where you can completely do a completely unintended route because of how the gems are placed. So that's one thing that makes the gem routing very, very cool in this game. And we'll see a really nice, really satisfying loop here. Ideally, you can make it all the way up to the top there, which is really cool, but there's a nice gravity modifier right there, so no problem.
Ready, set, go.
On to this next level. So if you're a fan of Marble Blast Platinum, this world might seem pretty familiar to you with its aesthetic. And actually, this whole game sort of draws a lot from Marble Blast Platinum in that it's got a lot of long linear levels with lots of gems in it. And it's also very difficult. So it's actually really impressive to play this game at all in an RTA setting, because some of these levels are just really hard. But
Checkpoint.
yeah, Marble Blast Platinum itself being a fan mod of Marble Blast Gold.
Super jump.
That's one of the, probably the first, well, he's one of the first big ones. So this game definitely draws from that. At the end of each level, you'll notice it say perfect, and that's this game's sort of challenge time, where this game has a big focus on beating levels without dying at all. If you can beat a level without dying, it'll give you a perfect rank. And if you beat a level without dying and you do it fast, you can get either a gold or a red perfect rank, and the red being the best. And so very impressive to be able to get those. You can see right there, red perfect
Ready,
is what you want to get.
go.
Now, there's some other friction surfaces that I haven't mentioned yet. There's several different bouncy surfaces that when you go on them, it makes you bounce up. So you can see right there, there's a green one just there. There's ice, which is slippery, as you expect ice to be. But this game has a very unique one called the super friction, which is basically very high friction. When you use it, you can roll up incredibly steep slopes. When you're on it, you can roll incredibly quickly. Oh, nice skip there to skip using a teleporter. Skipping across the level.
Set,
But yeah, there's a bunch of different friction surfaces. Some of them inspired by Marble games, and some of them completely unique to this game. Like these blue bouncy surfaces. There's multiple different levels of bouncy surface that bounce you up to different heights.
time travel.
A couple levels ago, we finished the first world as well. We're on the second world now. We're actually halfway through it already in terms of levels. And very satisfying bounce right to the end. I really love.
Time travel.
once again, we can ignore these time travels. They're very important for ILs, and this game does have a competitive IL leaderboard, which
That's something we haven't really mentioned too much during this whole event today is ILs. A lot of these marble games have robust and active IL communities as well. Monkey Ball is no exception. I'm sure Marble Blast, Marble It Up is no exception.
Ready.
no, they're definitely not. There's ILs. That's what I think is really cool about, basically any game that's focused on speedrunning. How ILs and RTA are very different beasts in a sense, where ILs, you just need to be able to pull off this crazy trick once, versus RTA, where it's what can you do consistently. And they're very much their own beast. This level is also very cool. It's a really big castle level, and you have to go multiple different ways, and once you go each way, it unlocks the path to go at the end. We'll get to see some skips there. So completely skipping the need to go get that super bounce, and instead just using a little bouncy surface to get the bounce needed. Jumping all the way down to the bottom to get another gem. Using this super jump that you're supposed to use at the beginning to get all the way to this later part in the level. To get really creative routing, and that's what I love here. And that opens up this extra path, which wasn't there, I think. And now we can ride this elevator up to the end of this level.
Ready, set, go!
And for people who maybe don't know some of the terminology, IL means individual level, so just like getting the fastest possible time on just one level. Whereas RTA stands for real-time attack and is more focused on completing a whole set of levels consistently. So like the category I ran right before this was 90 levels in Super Monkey Ball, for example.
Yep, that's good. That's a good clarification. Not everybody knows.
Yeah, we've been using that terminology a lot, and I realized no one has really explained it yet today.
Yeah. So a lot of this game does have a lot of moving platforms and platforms on cycles, and so I'll get to see that. Okay, so there's a respawn there. Now you notice it said plus 10 seconds. So like I mentioned, this game has a big focus on doing things perfectly without dying. So if you have to respawn at a checkpoint, it does give you a little penalty of 10 seconds, as well as not letting you get a perfect rank. But again, for RTA, luckily, we haven't yet figured out how to, skip 10 seconds on the clock. So actually, the plus 10 seconds does not add plus 10 seconds to the real life. So if we need to respawn, no problem. It doesn't matter so much for RTA runs. Obviously, it's faster not to, but I think there actually are a couple spots where there's intentional respawns, which we'll get to see later.
Notably, we have not invented time travel yet.
That's so no fair. One of these days we'll figure that out, but until then
Then we'll
RTA
really
runs
save
will
time
be
in our
done
speed
without
runs.
'em. Oh yeah. That's the end of World 2. We're in World 3 now, and yeah, I really like the different aesthetics in this world. So this one's kind of like a naturey forest aesthetic. So we'll see many levels with that aesthetic. I should say Salt, like I mentioned, made all these levels. She made this game pretty much by herself with some help, and I think some of the later bonus levels are also community created levels, but none of the ones that we're going to see in this run. And she got her start as making levels in Marble Blast Gold, both creating levels for Marble Blast Gold and even making her own mod of level collections for Marble Blast. So honestly, it's really cool to see someone go from just making levels to actually making a full game and releasing it on Steam. Like, that's not easy. And it's really cool that she pulled it off, and now we're seeing it on the GDQ screen. So wanted to give the shout out there.
That's something this community has in common with Super Monkey Ball, where there's a Super Monkey Ball level creator who went on to make a rollout, and that's now available on Steam.
Look at that.
So that's another similarity between these two communities, and
Absolutely.
that's something I specifically really love to see. You get to see how talented, how skilled these people are at not only playing the game, but also some of them at creating levels to play, creating new experiences within that game. And then they go on to have games of their own that are just phenomenal.
Yeah, it's really cool. This level has a bunch of hazards in them. I don't think I've really explained them all. A lot of them are self-explanatory. So there's the fan, that if you're in the way of the fan, it'll push you out of the way. There's a mine where when you hit it, it'll explode and then send you in, the wrong direction. That's no good. There's bumpers where when you hit them, you bounce off them. And those are often, you can use those to your advantage. You might see that in this run. Another thing that I think is just really nice is since a lot of these levels have gems, the HUD points you towards them, which is really nice, but it can still be easy to miss a gem and not realize you've missed a gem and whatnot. So I like that this game, when you go into a little section, so you can see there's a sign with 2 gems on it, and then up at the top of the screen, you can see it's got, the 2 gem icons that it's getting filled up when you get the gem. So it's a nice little way to make sure that you've got all the right gems that you need to be able to progress in the section, because that's definitely something that can trip you up when you're playing levels you've never played before. Trying to think if there's things I haven't explained that I should have explained by this point. There's so much depth to these games. It's very easy to just forget to explain something really important and then realize you never explained it, and and then half the run has happened. But yeah, we're making good progress here.
Same thing happens to me.
So this surface, this little rainbow surface, again, if you're a Marble Blast Platinum fan, you'll know this surface. It's called the Random Force. And when you touch it, it basically completely sends your marble in a random direction. There's a very interesting quirk of the Torque engine, which is the engine that Marble Blast was made in, where if you set the friction to be negative, that happens. And then, in 2007, people are like, yo, let's put that in our levels. And so I think it's kind of cool and almost funny that it's also included here in Great Marble Adventure. But it's something you can do when you're using using game engine. And I should also mention, this is not a Marble Blast mod. This is a new game from the ground up made in Unity. And so, it's not nice to use an engine that is not, 20 years old at this point. So this surface, this pink surface, when you're above that surface, it lowers your gravity. And that's something, I'm not quite able to need to respond there, but this is actually something that's borrowed from Platinum Quest. Platinum Quest, which we'll see later, it has physics mod triggers where when you enter the trigger, it does something. And so I think it's cool to be able to sort of have that same idea, but here it's actually the colors of the surfaces that indicate what the physics property is going to be. So it makes it a little bit more clear what's going on.
Time travel.
Oh, okay. She touched the random surface, but not quite enough to make a difference. That can send you totally off the rails if you're on it for a little too long. So that was nice that it worked out.
Ready. Set.
Oh yeah, and water as a surface. We all know from video games that if you land on water, you don't take any fall damage. Doesn't matter what game it is, that's just a thing. Water means no fall damage. How that's used here in Marble Blast and Great Marble Adventure and the Marble Blast mods is water basically acts like the shock absorber power-up, which when you use that, it completely prevents your marble from bouncing. So you can fall on it from any height and you don't bounce at all. You'll just stick to the ground. Which can, be a nice thing that if there's a really long fall and you don't want there to be a big bounce, you can put water. So that's how that makes sense.
Super jump. Super jump.
There's lots of hazards and lots of moving platforms in these levels. Like these trapdoors, this is another hazard. That when you're on it, you will basically it'll kind of collapse on itself and stay down for a bit. So these wooden platforms, you can't spend much time on them, otherwise you'll fall off. So that's how the trapdoor works. But
Set.
yeah. Another thing I should mention in this game, here's the thing I forgot to explain. Compared to Marble Blast, the air control you have in this game is crazy. It's like when you're in the air, you can very much just, move around much more easily than you can in Marble Blast and Marble It Up. And that honestly makes this game's movement a lot of fun. This game's movement is very unique compared to Marble Blast, even though on paper it seems like it's very much the same as what you might be used to. But once you actually play it, you realize it feels very different. And like I mentioned, with the addition of stuff like very high wall hits when you bounce on a wall, very tight air control, this game's movement is actually a lot of fun. So if you're a Marble Blast fan, I definitely recommend checking it out. And even if you're just, a watcher of the GDQ Marble Roller Marathon, you also might enjoy it. So, yeah, that's something that's unique about this game compared to many other Marble Rollers.
Well said. That's another reason I wanted to do this event, is because there are a lot of sometimes subtle differences between a lot of these games. They all have their own quirks. They're all unique in their own ways. And a lot of them are unique in ways that make for really cool and really interesting speedruns.
Absolutely. Coming up on the end of this level, and there we go. Red perfect. That's what you like to see. And that's the end of Chapter 3. Moving on to Chapter 4. And this one, the whole thing is themed around these castle levels. And so, which is, again, another aesthetic that I just think is really cool looking.
Checkpoint.
And
Checkpoint. Super speed.
yeah, we'll get to see,
Super bounce.
really cool castle shenanigans and, going through the, I don't know why I'm blanking on the name of the, alternating blocks on the outside of a castle. I can't think of the name right now, but it's cool.
Checkpoint.
And we'll get to see lots of levels like that.
Gyrocopter.
Really nice bounce there.
Set.
Oh, yep, go ahead.
Well, actually, too bad that we only play 6 levels, because the best levels are actually in the 7th to the 10th level. The other 4 levels that we don't get to play, especially in this chapter. Because level 7 and 8 in this chapter is about Chinese or Asian theme. And for chapter stage 9 and 10 is about the skies.
Yeah, but
so
again,
we
that's
don't
another
get to
thing.
play
If
that.
you're looking at this and you're like, this looks cool. I wanna
Unfortunately.
see what the rest of the levels look like, then go play the game.
Checkpoint.
Yeah, we need 4 players for this game. We have a speedrun.com category here for first ending and second ending. The first ending is the any percent, and the second ending is to complete the last Naturus chapter level. It's the late game chapter actually. And only me and someone else that are in there. So maybe after watching this,
Yeah.
you get interested
There
to
you go.
play the
You're-
game.
This is literally
for
the perfect
RTA.
audience for that. So,
Who knows?
this is where you want to show that. All right, finishing up that level here.
Set. Go.
This is another cool. This is a cool level where you get to sort of use the slopes and to skip big sections. At least at the start there. But these big slopey sections, again, you can bounce on them very, bouncing on those slopes can get you like lots of height, especially if you go into them with high speed.
Checkpoint.
So in these big slope sections, you can really just go.
Oh, I miss it.
Oh, miss.
I miss a game.
All right, that was not. Yeah,
Just
not the worst
Yeah.
gem to miss. That's easy
Still
to go
okay.
back and get it. We're good. We're good. Still got the yellow perfect.
Ready. Set. Go.
So another mechanic that this game has this was inspired by Marble It Up Ultra, which we're going to be seeing tomorrow. We saw Marble It Up Classic today, but some of these power-ups, you can see they have sort of rectangular, highlights around them, and we call these gates, I think. At least I call them gates. Maybe that's not what they're called, but basically these gates make it so the hitboxes of these, gems, power-ups, whatever, are bigger and easier to collect. So that can make, especially for levels like this, where you can move really fast throughout these long hallways, it makes it a little more generous to be able to collect all of the gems and power-ups that you need. You don't need to be in the exact perfect spot to get them. It makes the hitbox a little bigger. So that's a very nice feature to include in this game.
Time travel.
Now here, she was supposed to use that super speed to go up the slope, but actually could use it afterwards, which made it a lot quicker to cross that section. So it's a cool, creative use where you don't need to use them right away. And here she's smuggling another one of these to get up and use it right on that slope. Very cool. Last gem, finishing up here.
Ready, set, go. Time travel. Time travel. Time travel.
Here we go, next level. I think based on what I'm hearing through the microphone, my thing is a little behind, so sorry if I'm commenting on things that are out of date here. But again, we get to see, this is the super friction. It might be a little bit, it looks kind of similar to ice in a sense, but once you get used to it, you can tell the difference. Again, you can use them to just climb on these really steep slopes. You can pretty much climb on really steep slopes as if they're almost totally flat. Which there's some cool levels, especially in the higher difficulties, if you turn it up from easy, where you're navigating on these really thin slopes that are the super friction. Okay, here we can do some cool shortcuts to not need to wait for all of these moving platforms to move back and forth. Very nice. She skipped a couple and almost did a really nice wall hit. You could see that while that one didn't quite work, that type of just wall hit where you just hit a wall and you're just up to the top, just doesn't work in any other game than this. Like, it's such a satisfying thing when you figure out where you can use it and really get those down. Looks fine.
Almost sub 1.
Looks fine.
It's okay.
Ready, set, go.
Actually, when the arts mentioned about the time travels being ignored, it's not completely true, because sometimes I still need to collect time travels on my path so I get a perfect rating, and my rating goes up. And if you want to play a level that has a higher rating than your rating, the game will warn you about the level might be too hard, and
yeah, that's true.
That's gonna
if there are time
take
travels,
around
ones that are
1 to
in
2
way,
seconds to press the
them.
button, so
You don't need to.
it's just
avoid
better
them
to
if they're
collect time travels.
Not actually.
Oh no, I missed a cycle.
It's going to take any extra time to get out of the way. And yeah, this game does have a rating system, which you can get like a global ranking on the leaderboard, which is actually really cool.
Time travel.
And it's not based on all the levels you've ever completed. It's only based on the hardest levels you've completed. It's a pretty cool strategy that I haven't seen. I think it might have been taken from another game or borrowed from another game. I don't remember, but yeah, because that's one criticism I've seen of, for example, getting put on the leaderboard in Platinum Quest or on MarbleBlast.com is the rating doesn't necessarily tell you how good you are. It tells you how many levels you've done. So it's really cool to see another way of making a rating that's different than what we're used to. And yeah, it is nice that the game will also give you a warning when you try to play a level that's very hard compared to your rating. But if you're a speedrunner, it doesn't matter. You can just ignore that. Yeah. So this.
Set. Go.
Okay, we are on chapter 5 now, the final chapter, and I have to do all of the levels.
Very long. Yes.
And
So we'll get
yeah,
to see
this is
lots
not
of
the
long
halfway
levels.
point of the game. So it's the last 2 levels in this chapter, spoiler alert, are very long.
Start creeping up, but yeah, just more gameplay we get to see. This chapter is also the chapter in which we see some of the most flashy skips. I don't think we've seen it yet about how the super speed can give you a very big vertical height boost. But again, we'll get to see several instances of that. Maybe even some loop exits. We'll see some cool stuff, so. Finishing up this level here.
Ready. Set. Go.
Oh, I miss the platform again. You have to be really fast to just reach the platform here before it's come up.
Yeah, the red perfect times are quite difficult, and I know some of them have
And probably this level is the hardest to get the red perfect.
times. So a lot of them
I don't know.
not forgiving at all.
I don't remember even who set the red perfect times.
But if you think you got it, then go for them all.
Super jump. Super jump.
Yeah, it's one we need to wait, unfortunately.
Yep. As long as you don't die.
And
As long as you don't
if
die,
you notice
you'll always get a
the
perfect
dot
rank.
here, the timer,
It's only
it
going
indicates
fast
what
on
challenge
top of that
time
is
you
how
can get.
ranks above.
But for that
the
level,
standard perfect rank.
I only have the white dot, meaning that I am slower than the medal time. But I still get a perfect rank.
Yeah, definitely needing to wait for a cycle at the end here, but
If you lost your... Yeah.
All right, we're gonna really quick pause
sorry.
things and take a quick break just to address these tech issues. Thanks for dealing with us so far. We will be right back after we fix things.
Oh no!
yeah, sorry.
I never missed that, by the way. I don't know why I'm moving so slow.
Time travel.
You used to be able to, but I don't think newer versions of OBS. Yeah. Which is really annoying, honestly. Yeah. Oh, yeah, maybe it's a Twitch thing. My version of OBS doesn't even let me do it. But maybe that's because of my encoder settings or something.
Days I recall when you used to roll on by me.
All right, we're back. The marbles are getting a little antsy. Big shout outs to our tech crew. Big shout outs to all of you in chat for waiting so patiently. Let's get back into Great Marble Adventure.
Okay.
Salt, bring us back into it.
Checkpoint. Super jump.
Good thing I remember.
All right, and hopefully my commentary will be more up to date now.
Time travel.
Yeah, here we go. We are on, I believe, did it say level 7? Is that where we are? We were quite ahead here
Checkpoint.
compared to what I was looking at, I think. But yeah, here we go. So here's another mechanic that was, if you've played Platinum Quest, especially some customs you might be used to. Basically, there's a, it's like an instant teleport mechanic where there's a rainbow colored, it looks like a wall, but when you go into it, it'll teleport you to somewhere else.
Ready.
And boom, really nice super speed, followed with a wall hit. And again, that wall hit, boom, it just gives you a bunch of extra air time, which is really cool. Okay, here we go, stage 5-4. That's, yeah, I was a bit confused there, but yeah. 5-4. We've seen, if you watched the Marble It Up run earlier, you might recognize these spinning, can't think of what they might be called, but obstacles that are also in use here. So, like I mentioned, this game is made in Unity compared to Marble Blast, which is made in, the Torque engine. And Platinum Quest was able to get spinning things to work, but that required a bunch of reverse engineering, and even still, it's a little bit janky. So it's nice, to just make it in an engine with a built-in physics engine where things can spin and it'll just work. So, yeah, we get to see spinning things in Great Marble Adventure.
Checkpoint. Super speed. Time travel. Time travel. Time travel.
bad.
Time travel.
Really, and really nice super speed into this comically large spinning bumper, which is kind of funny, but it's
Ready.
gotta be on your toes with that one.
Go.
All right, on to 5-5.
Super jump.
Again, many different friction surfaces here, especially the ice. Ice is pretty difficult to navigate in most marble games, and this game is no exception. Except that this game, you have the benefit of incredible air control. And typically in marble games, that's what you want to do. Ooh, really nice loop exit there. So I should explain. A loop exit is pretty much what it sounds. If there's a loop-de-loop that you're going through, you can use a super speed or whatever to get through the loop, but then actually instead of riding out the entire loop and riding on the ceiling or whatever, which would turn you back around the other direction, you can exit the loop if you're very precise and actually just keep all of that completely vertical speed. Loop exits are one of the most satisfying and cool looking tricks in a marble game, and so it's really cool that we get to see them here. We might get to see at least one more in the run, but yeah, so hopefully I was able to explain that not 10 years after loop exit actually happened, but
Set. Go.
on to the next level. And again, I really like the unique vibes of a lot of these levels. These mushrooms, very much remind me of Mario Kart. Wii, I think, that had
Oh,
these.
yeah, this is Mushroom Gorge. I know exactly what you're talking about, and that is Mario
Yeah.
Kart Wii. You got it.
Look at that. And so
I know
yeah,
exactly what you mean.
Yeah. So it's really cool. This is cool. I've never seen a Marble Blast level that looks like this. Oh yeah, and here these stairs prevent you from needing to go onto the random force surface. And yeah, here are these, again, spinning things. Really cool seeing things that are spinny and work. These are really cool colors too. I really like how much just like changing the skybox and the lighting settings of a level can create a really unique feel. And like this level, I really like the sort of jungly aspect, vibe to it, especially with the trees and all that stuff.
Yeah, this is neat.
Very cool feel. Here's these pink surfaces again. These are the ones that give you low gravity, and so we can use that to navigate all the way up here.
That was a good point too. We haven't really talked about the aesthetic of these games too much, and we've seen a lot of very pleasing backgrounds between, the Marble It Up games, this Monkey Ball, what have you.
Marble Abduction, that Patty
Yeah,
Hadu.
exactly.
That one's like probably the most beautiful marble game I've ever seen. Like, that one's crazy.
Yeah, Super Monkey Ball at launch, the custom level pack, looked incredible.
Oh yeah. So it's crazy that even within just one genre, marble rollers, there's still so much variety in both gameplay and aesthetics. All right, here's some more random force, which you get. Oh, I think you might have just barely touched it. Oh, that's okay. A quick respawn in there. I think there was a checkpoint not too long ago, so it's not the worst in the world. Again, for RTA runs, we don't care that much about the ranks that we get. Apart from using, making sure we get a rank high enough to skip some text boxes that, give you a little warning, but that really doesn't matter that much.
Super balls.
All right, so here's a very, very intertwined level, and again, it very much is reminiscent of some of the, Marble Blast Platinum, final expert levels in that game, which are just really long and have tons of gems. Like we mentioned, in this world, we're just going to see lots of levels like this. Again, really cool bounce there. The bounces in this game just give you tons of speed, and so you get to see that.
And trapdoor problem.
Super
Yeah,
speed.
quick respawn, not the worst in the world.
I hate the trapdoors, honestly.
Oh man.
Super speed.
Okay, got it.
Well, you have no one to blame but yourself. I'm just kidding. But yeah, very nice. That's like also that one's like almost a loop exit, except again, you're just taking a super speed, using it to ride up a curved surface, and then just using that vertical speed to just carry you somewhere else on the level. And very satisfying whenever you can pull off something like that. You know, it's these kind of like big intertwined levels where, you know, there is a linear path that you can take, but there's also tons of places where you can skip from the top to the bottom and then do something to get from the bottom to the top, and then, you know, navigate all over. It means you can just do tons of really cool routing stuff and save lots of time while looking really cool. So I love levels like this.
Checkpoint.
Getting pretty close to the end here.
Checkpoint.
Got most of the gems. Just got to pick up last couple more.
Time travel.
And you get a really nice wall hit there.
Time travel. Time travel. Super speed.
Last gem. And huge loop to
Yay.
the end.
And welcome to the most broken level.
Yep, 5A is another level that looks very similar to the previous one in that there's going to be tons of wild skips throughout it. There's been a couple different routes for this level, all of which are really cool. What was that? I have never seen that. That was an interesting super speed shenanigan, but again, we could totally skip some of those time travels. There's optional time travel bonuses, but boom, loop exit. Another really huge loop exit to get from the bottom to the top there. Using that super speed and keeping all the vertical speed to get it totally unintended. Followed by a wall hit with the super jump, a super speed. And that's what I was talking about earlier. You can pretty much turn a super speed into a super jump by just bouncing off a wall, which gives you lots of height, and then using a super speed, which makes you go in the direction that you're going. And so you can get tons and tons of height with the super speed in this game. In Marble Blast, it doesn't work quite the same. In order to, you know, get a lot of height up using a super speed, you have to specifically, you know, bounce off of a sloped surface. But here you can just do it with a wall, and it's really satisfying.
Super jump.
Got a little gravity section here. Flip to normal, and you got that super jump just in case you need it, but you don't need it here. And you can even skip a bunch.
And I do it again. Oh no!
Uh-oh.
I plan to use that again, the same trick, but I failed.
No. Unfortunate, but luckily there's a checkpoint not too far back. And again, we get to
I failed again.
That's right. We get to see this another cool. We'll just get to see it again. And again, that shows you the power of a super jump. The super jump doesn't just set your height to set your vertical speed to a fixed amount. It adds it to what you already have. So if you bounce on a big surface, you can then use a super jump to get a ton of height. And there we go. Boom. That super speed off the wall. Huge amount of height. Got the last gem. Do it again. Boom, all the way to the finish. It's really satisfying. This level used to end with a loop exit, but honestly, that double super speed wall hit is like even cooler looking. And it's faster, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, lots of different routes that are in use there. And it makes for a really flashy finish. We're on to the last two levels. And like I mentioned, the gem counts are really climbing up. This one's got 30 gems in it, so there's quite a bit here. And like I mentioned earlier, it's really cool how much, you know, just changing up the skybox and the lighting can have a huge effect on a level. These last two levels are kind of like in these dark outer space, you know, but with like red outer space vibes. It's very cool looking. And it feels very ominous for the end of the game. Nice super speed strat there to skip needing to take a couple moving platforms or bouncy surfaces. Even just little things like that, you know, just to skip one or two surfaces adds up a lot if you just keep find that all throughout the run.
Super jump. Checkpoint.
Okay, coming up for next super speed trick.
Yeah, get ready.
Super speed.
Can I make it? Yeah.
Very nice with a nice bounce. That was clean. That was like the exact right amount of height. So again, that's something that's really cool, and you don't see anything like it in Marble Blast.
Checkpoint.
A nice super friction on these slamped. I tried to combine slanted and sloped. Close enough. Nice wall hit there to skip a bounce. And very cool looking. And this is a really nice one. Using that bouncy surface to sort of get over onto this, trapdoor section from the side, right on one of the gems too. The scary thing there is you're skipping a checkpoint, which, doesn't matter if you're perfect, but in RTA it never hurts to just grab an extra checkpoint, just to be safe.
Super jump.
Anything can happen, by the way.
Anything can happen.
That's
in
why.
an RTA run.
Checkpoint.
And by the way, that was inversion floor. So basically, your movement is
yeah.
inverted. So I press backwards to go forward.
That's a very unique mechanic right there, and it's got a cool looking texture. I gotta say, these arrows, really nice.
Oh no, I missed the cycle.
Checkpoint.
Yeah. Cycles. Love them or hate them.
Cycles in my marble roller game.
It's
Always
more
a
likely than
nuisance.
you think.
It really is.
Almost done with this level here. These 30 gems really went by pretty quick.
Checkpoint.
Um,
Time travel.
just
Time
3 more.
travel.
And a really nice, wow, that was a really nice jump from the bottom to the top there.
Super speed.
Getting that checkpoint without falling off.
Super
And nice
speed.
wall hits just to save a little bit of time.
Super jump.
Final section with the super speeds. Last few gems. And into the finish. All right, final level in the game. And similar to the last one, this one's quite long. So buckle in. This is the last level, so time will end not upon entering the finish, but upon seeing the credits start up. That's also a reminder to myself to not yell time at the wrong spot like I did during the practice run. Oops. Yeah, time ends when we see the credits appear. So, yeah, a lot of the same stuff. This is like really, everything that we've seen in the game. Put it in this level. There's a lot of different mechanics in it, and these levels, like I mentioned, they have a big focus on being perfect. Maybe not the level, but the game itself. The way the rating system focuses on is making it all the way through the levels without having to respawn, right? And so combine that with these long endurance tests means these are quite challenging to get all the way through and get all of the red perfects. There are a couple people who have done it. I haven't myself yet, but it's quite a challenge. And the emphasis on not dying and not respawning is definitely interesting for the pretty unique to this game. But what am I talking about? This is an RTA run. We just need to get to the end. Really cool super speed there to skip a whole little section down below. And just make it all the way up to the top.
Oh no, I need another super speed, by the way. So
Super speed.
just use this and keep the super speed.
Checkpoint.
Yeah, see.
It will be used later.
Yeah, you can use one super speed to just get the other super speed, and now we get to smuggle this
Time travel.
and use it later. Nice little shortcut there, jumping across the sort of decor block. But it's got a time travel there, so you're supposed to do it.
And now welcome the most boring section. You have to jump over 54 platforms. And what makes this interesting to me, instead of being bored, is that you can hold jump, keep holding jump, and see if you can reach the top without stopping.
Yeah, if you can jump through all of these with just one jump each, I mean, that's very impressive. So here on this type of, challenge, you're not limited by how quickly you can go horizontally. You're limited in how quickly you can jump. And so yeah, here, very nice jumping. It's always very satisfying when you can just hold jump and then jump from platform to platform to platform. And again, this game's increased air control to a lot of other Marvel games makes stuff like this very satisfying if you can pull it off, because it's maybe a bit easier than it looks. It's still not easy, but easier compared to some other games.
And here is pick a corner and pray you don't get kick. Okay, good.
Oof. Clutch.
Okay, now it's
Get
time to
ready
use the
for
super
this.
speed. And
Boom.
I got it. Hey,
All the way in the air.
Oh wow, that's
Get the
entertaining.
gem. Up to the next platform. Looks very cool.
Very smooth.
we are almost done, guys.
Almost there.
We are almost done, guys.
29 out of 32. 30 out of 32.
And that's the last checkpoint.
In the home stretch. And I'm going to need you to call time because I'm a bit delayed. Last gem.
Okay,
Last gem.
and time.
Boom. GG.
G is super clean. That was awesome. Well done.
Yeah, well done. Great run. What was I guess the time. Actually, just looking at the GDQ screen, that was a sub 50, or no, that was exactly 50 minutes.
50 flat.
Exactly 50. I know there was a bit of the tech delay, tech issue there, but like that's
really
good. That's
Yeah.
like better than we did in practice, I think, and that's quite a good run. So very well done.
Yeah, with the mistakes that I did in some levels. Okay.
Yeah.
And guys, that's the end of the Great Marble Adventure Any Percent run. Yeah, which is the final run of the
that's
day,
last
right?
run of today, but don't forget,
Yeah.
there's a lot more coming up
Okay,
tomorrow.
I will. Yeah, I want to give some shout outs. So, first of all, thank you for DRs for being the commentator. And thank you for Helix for accepting this run to GDQ. And also Ferry Ananda for coming up with the pets. And he is the other player that I mentioned previously, the only two players playing this game. And my parents for waking me early. I woke up at 1 a.m. by the way to just play this. And also for funding the game because I made this game. And for my colleague Dan 2L for designing the poster of the event for my speedrun event. And yeah, for my speedrun event. And yeah, if you are interested to play this, there is
Yeah,
a dip
thank you again. Just thank you so much for
on the
inviting me
Steam.
to commentate.
You
This
can get
run.
it
And
there.
like I mentioned, this is such a unique game, and also it's just
But
a cool showcase that a community member
get it
going
there.
on to make their own game.
But if you're
and then
interested
also
to play the
good at
whole
it and
game, you
speedrun
can-
it. I mean, it's just
buy
very
it
cool.
also.
So thank you so much for having me on, and I'd also, thank you to Helix and GDQ for running this event. I love Marble Rollers. I love seeing
And
more Marble Rollers.
any closing
on the,
words from
on the big
DRs?
screen. So thank you guys so much.
Hey, thank you both. Yeah, that was awesome. Lots of just super clean gameplay. I mean, hey, T-Hurst, you mentioned you like Marble Rollers. Well, you're in luck because there is a whole another day of games just like you saw today. Tomorrow starting at 1 p.m. Eastern. I'm just going to go through the schedule. Tomorrow's schedule is absolutely stacked with Marble Rollers. There's Monkey Ball Touch and Roll, which is the DS Monkey Ball. Super underrated. Highly recommend checking that out. Whether you've seen it or not, honestly, it'll be a lot of fun. Followed by Marble It Up Ultra into Platinum Quest. T-Hurst will be running Platinum Quest, racing it actually against Starwide. And that is a mod of Marble Blast Gold, I believe.
Yep.
And then there's Marble Madness, not just one Marble Madness, but Marble Madness 1 and 2. That is also a race. Gravosphere run by Goobs. Goobs is a phenomenal Super Monkey Ball runner. And I knew when I started making the schedule, I was like, I have to have Gravosphere, you know? So I'm super excited to see Goobs run that as well. Then there's Super Monkey Ball, Banana Mania, Co-op Bingo. Monkey Ball Bingo is a lot of fun. And then there is Super Monkey Ball, Banana Rumble, World Tour EX, and then Ultimate EX. So those are the most difficult levels in Super Monkey Ball, Banana Rumble, ran by Moo, who is one of the most skilled players in the game. So super stacked schedule tomorrow, again, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern. I hope you tune in. I would love to see you there. If you missed any of the wonderful Marble runs today, stay tuned. Don't go away because we will be replaying the whole thing. So that started with Marble It Up Classic, followed by Super Monkey Ball 2, and then Monkey Ball 2 launch, and then into our silly block. So if you missed any of that and you want to see it, just stick around right here, twitch.tv/GamesDoneQuick. It's coming up, a replay right after this. But of course, you can also catch the VODs on youtube.com/GamesDoneQuick in a few days. Yeah, thank you all so much for being here, for watching my funny little Marble Roller Marathon. Shout out to GDQ Hotfix for even letting me do this. It's always a blast. And I will see you all tomorrow right here at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for Super Monkey Ball Touch and Roll and the rest of this Marble Marathon. I've been Helix. I'm going to go get some rest so I can do more hosting tomorrow. Bye, everyone.